I recall watching a concert in 2005. It was a concert in honor of Father Eddie Ontiveros for all the contributions he made to the Philippine liturgical music. During the concert, suddenly I felt a sense of joy. Why? Because I was hearing songs that are not being sung anymore, but they were the songs I grew up with. So I had a sense of gratitude, recalling my parents bringing me to church. Alam ko, when I was young, I was not attentive to the Mass. But during that concert, it brought back memories, and the words of the songs were suddenly becoming alive again to me. And it's as if God was communicating with me. It was really an experience it was a significant experience for me. That when in 2008, when Father Honti died, some of the scholastics were asking me why was I being emotional? Why was I crying? Actually, it was a sense of joy coming back to me again, that sense of gratitude, that sense of being inspired by the songs, by the work that he gave. All the songs and words were really inspiring.
Okay, my inspiration came from my family. I was raised in a very traditional family in Bohol, where my lola, my mother spent mostly 60% of their time in the church. So, for me, I joined as one of the members of the altar servers, starting from grade 3 to high school. Then I continued that part where there was joy in serving. So I entered the seminary, but after 6 years in the seminary, I started to feel that I need to do something first. So I decided to work outside as a teacher for 3 years. One day, I was very struck with the homily of a priest, a diocesan priest. He was asking me, what will happen to the church now if nobody is going to serve the Lord? There's nobody wanted to serve the Lord. Nobody is going to the seminary. What's the reason behind? Are we afraid to serve the Lord? So I was very struck at that question. Sabi ko, I have the opportunity and I have the strength and I have the ability to serve the Lord. And why am I afraid to do it so? And then, by that time, I realized that it was a very powerful sign, a very powerful inspiration. And then I went back to the seminary. I was happy that I was accepted, and here I am.
I remember when I was in a fourth year high school, when our teacher, Filipino teacher, make us to review a movie. The movie was entitled Dekada 70, which talks about, and the story is all about the people powers revolution, or the EDSA revolution. This was very important to all the Filipinos, which is engraved in their hearts. The Filipino aspect of or dimension, which made them to battle the tyrant or the government under the Marcos regime. Revolution was called the bloodless revolution, wherein they feel or they do their actions without doing any violence and anything that can hurt people. There are personalities which were very important in this historical event of all Filipinos. First was Benigno Inoy Aquino Sr., which is a senator, who was shot and killed in the airport. So this event made the Filipinos to wake up in their oppression But I would like to focus more on what Cardinal Sin, Jaime Cardinal Sin did when he encouraged or inspired people to go out to the streets, to make their voices, their actions, and give justice to what the Marcos regime, the government did. To be one as a Filipino. Finally, the Bloodless Power Revolution, or EDSA, renewed the power of the people, strengthened the meaning of democracy, and restored the democratic institution of the government. Doesn't mean that this event that made me decide to become a priest, but it made me to decide to become a good Filipino, more like a Filipino. Saying that, yes, even though that I am not there, but I am inspired to fight for my peace, to fight for freedom, and to fight for justice as a Filipino.
One of the many aspects that makes the Filipino Catholicism known is popular religiosity. And I believe it is where Filipinos would express their intense or their deep feeling of faith. And as a child, my parents would bring me to the devotion of Our Lady of Peña Francia, and it is found in my own region, in Bicol, particularly in Naga City. And it is very different when you try to look at this people gathering just to touch an image of their devotion in screens or in TV compared to when you yourself have an experience of grasping or touching the image or the devotion where you wanted to express the faith. As a child, I would go to the shrine together with my family to also express our devotion to the image of Our Lady of Peña Francia. And I would say that the feeling is different compared to when you just see the event on screens. And then there I realized that God inspires us not just through people, not just through things, but also through events and certain experiences like mine. Such experience brings me closer to God and inspires me in a certain way.
I grew in a tribe of multicultural beliefs wherein our elders believe too much in ghosts, in gods of the trees, the gods of the caves. Elders love very much telling stories about their experiences. And in these experiences, because in those times our elders were not yet Christians. And I am very much inspired to these stories because in their stories, they found God in them. I remember one of our elders telling about being lost in the forest. And there's no other word that he would say but only the name of God. And there are many stories that I heard from my elders. And I am very much inspired because they were not born as Christians, but they still find God in their experiences.
The world's attention was given to the Philippines in the year 1995, and I was part of that. A very big gathering, tens and thousands of people flocked Luneta Grandstand just to celebrate the Mass with the Pope. I also remember chasing the Pope mobile just to see him face to face. And then we stayed in Luneta for the whole day. We praised God, we celebrated the Mass, we sang songs together with the other youth. And there was one moment that really struck me the most. It was during the homily of Pope John Paul II, when he said that he loved the youth so much and that the youth can be the catalyst for evangelization and for change. And he challenged everyone present there to take part in that challenge, to go to the ends of the world and proclaim the good news, to tell the world of God's love. I found myself crying for no reason. And then I realized that I wanted to answer that challenge. It was an inspiring and also a frightening experience because I can never forget that day because it started the restlessness in me. I was just second year college then. But I know I really wanted to do something for the Lord. I wanted to finish college early so I can proceed to the priesthood. But it did not materialize because I have to help my family after graduating. I worked with a television station for more than 10 years. And I still recall that experience and that challenge. And 12 years after World Youth Day, I answered that challenge. And now I'm a religious information.
Most precious one, He has sent us His message of love. Concerns